仕事がまだ終わってません。休んでいいのでしょうか？
ここは幼稚黄金屋。関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
ここに来た理由を説明してください。ここは幼稚黄金屋。勝手に出入りされては困ります。
ここは幼稚黄金屋。関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。
説明してください。
ここは幼稚黄金屋。関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
ここに来た理由を説明してください。ここは幼稚黄金屋。勝手に出入りされては困ります。
ここは幼稚黄金屋。関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
穏やかな雰囲気、とても好きです。
いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。ここは幼稚黄金屋。勝手に出入りされては困ります。
ここは幼稚黄金屋。関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
ここに来た理由を説明してください。ここは幼稚黄金屋。勝手に出入りされては困ります。
いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
いつになったら隊長になれるんだ？
穏やかな雰囲気、とても好きです。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
ここは幼稚黄金屋。関
芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
穏やかな雰囲気、とても好きです。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。
いつになったら隊長になれるんだ。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
ここは用地黄金屋。勝手に出入りされては困ります。いつになったら隊長になれるんだ。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
ここは用地黄金屋。関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。いつになったら隊長になれるんだ。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
いつになったら隊長になれるんだ。ここは用地黄金屋。関係者以外は立ち入り禁止だ。
ここに来た理由を説明してください。
眼光開く。
真実。この通りを観客たちが信じてくれてるといいんだけどね。そうすれば僕も数えきれないほどのトリックを生み出せるから。
波を追いかけて走ったことある？やってみたい？やってみようよ。ほら今すぐ行こう。一緒にいい感じの海辺を探してあげるよ。うわあ、ぽよんぽよよんうわあ、とっとっと。
Shouldn't this is not going to be super good because I don't think our team is a super DPS team, but we'll see how he is built. Actually, he was doing pretty decent damage. God damn. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, like I was actually a little surprised because obviously it's Kuki and Yario obviously are healers. Now if Kuki actually if both of them were stacked for elemental mastery, I could see them making the aggravate reactions much stronger. Nahida obviously is a sub DPS, and then Furina is not. I guess it's kind of say sub DPS, but really support. But yeah, even before I got my buff on, still pretty strong. So that's pretty good. See, that's the thing is like it might have not been so good, right? It might have not been amazing, but because people built their characters well, we absolutely crushed it, right? I have times where, I mean, if there was 4 DPS, we probably would have still done it just as quickly. But like that's the thing, 4 DPS was almost as quick, or maybe slightly quicker, as really we had no proper DPS. So Nahida would be our biggest DPS there, but she's not really a DPS. She's a sub DPS. She's only anyway. But yeah, like the fact that Nahida and Furina combined are doing shitloads of Dendro cores. Nahida's stacked for Elemental Mastery, so increase the damage of the Dendro cores, I think, maybe slightly, but the aggravate as well. And then if the two of the sub DPS are also stacked for Elemental Mastery, it'll drastically increase the damage of their cores as well. Like Milo, Milo's a shit decision. Milo's only good team is Dendrohydro. That's it. She's only good in those teams. She does no damage otherwise. Now you can argue, well, she's kind of good because of freeze, right? Because if the two of us are constantly doing cryo, with her aura, she'll be constantly freezing. Except this guy's obviously not going to freeze at all, so like, it's not helpful. Jesus Christ, how are you almost dead already? Just stay the fuck away and not. Actually, I saw some pretty decent Hydro damage, I thought, in there. Hydro, okay. She didn't take damage from that, so she must have iframed it pretty well. That's fine then. I mean, I'm a little privileged. I use Ganyu a lot, so it's just like, I don't have to worry about that shit. Why? Well, because I'm just... Oh, he's not even a C2 Emilie? Because I don't have a shield. So either I'm just too far out of range for a shield, or, getting out of the way. Oh my god, they got affected by Pyro. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, come on. Actually, wait, no, they're affected by Pyro, and they're not losing health. So, this must be a C2 Emilie. They must have gotten a shield, and I just didn't get one because I'm out of range. I see. Yeah, I think I ran too far. There must have been a safer spot on the other side, on the right of me. I didn't see one, but it must have been because I was running completely on the other side and still got hit because obviously it was too far distant. So there must have been one closer on my right. I just went to the left out of habit, which was dumb. But yeah, that was actually surprisingly quick. I think having a shielder definitely helps because like that's the biggest issue is that when the people die, when they go too far, they don't play the game properly. Like the fact they got afflicted by Pyro when he was stomping around shows that they're not really good. Because you shouldn't get hit by that. You should see, oh shit, he's just gonna charge Electro, get the fuck out, and not even be in there at all. But yeah, you just see people who like rush in and be like, oh no, I'll be fine. And it's like, no, they get hit, and then they get fucked.
清掃を開始します。はいはい。
Yeah, so presumably each tribe is going to give me something special like this. I mean, it says very special item, very in and of itself. And then you all come. It's probably that when like they're all combined, they'll make some. Maybe they won't even need 6. Maybe they'll be like, nah. Like you just need to get 4 out of the 6 tribes max, and get 4 of their special items, and then you can combine it. I'm curious what it's going to become. Obviously, a weapon would be the coolest, like a cool, amazingly best in slaughter character weapon would be nice. And considering these are it's a 5-star ingredient, should create a 5-star weapon, but we shall see. Oh, this one. I hate this defense one. I'm not going to be. I'll just be this character. I'll be this friendship team. This is a bad one. It's because oh no, they actually are. Oh, I see. That's what happened. They are actually grouped together, but they ran away like almost immediately. So I just got too close to them last time, and they ran away from each other. And that's, I mean, now that I know where they appear to, it's going to be super bad. But yeah, the problem with Milani's team is they don't group together very well, which is fine because like Milani herself has good range of motion, but like it also can be a slow build for damage. So if it's like bigger, chunkier enemies, actually I don't even know if I do well against bigger, chunkier enemies. It seems like I do. Milani seems to be much better against lots of little tiny enemies because she can tag lots of them. Oh, race, nice. Oh, that's nice. It's a hierarchical right next to where it ended up being. Convenient. Why would you put the center of a combat challenge amongst a pile of debris?
また一人来たか。
清掃を開始します。はっやっ霧となって散りなさい。大表なかなか再構成します。はあ、振り絞れよ。
Oh yeah, cool. It's this one. Apparently, it seems to be continuing. Oh wait, no, this isn't that. I thought I was training the girl again. I thought this was the place I got the girl training quest as well. I thought there was a continuation. Oh, well, you trained her in this. Do you want to train her again? But this seems to be actually completely different.
管理します。加速するよ。今来たよ。注文。君にこっちあれ。
Oh, Ronnie, that name sounds familiar. I mean, the name sounds familiar, but I can't remember what she's from. I'll probably have to like Google it to see what other like quests I've been involved with her on. It's not a thesis, but like she's Sumerian, so it's like pretty much everything involving a person from there has to do with a thesis. So it doesn't really narrow it down. Oh, that was nice. I thought it started the quest when I got close. I thought it would just continue when I got close too. Okay, now that I did that, I will finish up Emilie's quest. Oh, but so for anyone who has just started watching this and don't know what the fuck this is about, this is Emilie's character quest. The basis of this quest is in Fontaine a few years ago, there was a huge inflation of the perfume market because of a perfume called August. It was made by a creator called Edgar and some merchant who then kind of basically price fixed, which drove the price up ridiculously and upset the market so much so that the police stepped in and arrested the people price fixing. So the merchants went to jail. And Edgar burnt his flower fields, the unique flower that was used to create this perfume, and ran, and left Fontaine. We found him here many years later. The merchants who were helping him are now back and communicating with him because they have finished serving their time. And while talking to them, Edgar appeared knocked out, and the smell of the August perfume was on him. So we were like, oh shit. And they indicated he said the name Kyria, so we're thinking, oh, Kyria is the culprit. Then later that night, the merchant brothers who were communicating with Edgar, one of them died in his room, in a supposedly locked room. I thought there was a suspicious looking incense thing in the corner when we showed up in his room. So I was like, oh, it's probably that, right? It's probably a poison that was put in the incense. That's what the cause was. But no one, said anything about it. So I was like, come on, dude. Like, it's so fucking suspicious. It's right there. We even have to investigate it as part of the clues. And come on. But no one said anything. So I was like, whatever, right? He died. The merchant, the brother's merchant, or the brother of the merchant who died, the other merchant, was greatly upset. We thought, oh, okay, well, Kyria is the culprit again. We want to go to Fontaine to accept justice because it turns out that the August flower was one created with the use of a delusion, and they had actually worked with a Snezhnaya agent who had left, obviously Snezhnaya, presumably had cut ties, but who knows, maybe they did this as a plot, or whatever. But either way, she came over, produced August in mass, they made perfumes out of it, and it turns out that the perfume can be lethal if you are sensitive to elemental energy. If you're overly sensitive to elemental energy, you can die from it. But it's super rare for that to actually happen. It's like most people don't have the sensitivity required for it, so most people will not be affected. But because of this connection with Snezhnaya and this person and the use of a delusion in the creation of the raw ingredient of the perfume, the remaining merchant brother and Edgar were like, no, we're just going to submit ourselves to the Fontainian courts again, admit our guilt. And so they spread that information intentionally to get Kyria to attack them again so they could try to catch them. And so that's what happened. And then the following night, the other merchant brother was put into a coma. I think he's not dead, but he was just essentially kind of quote-unquote attacked. And when we got into his room, that suspicious incense thing that I was like, oh, this is incredibly suspicious, that was in his brother's room was now in his room. So I'm like, why the fuck did no one notice this shit? But apparently I was wrong. It wasn't the incense itself. It was a clever combination. The incense was the same incense that we had in Sumeru that, like, connected us to the Irminsul, the spiritual Borea. And essentially what that does is that artificially increases your elemental sensitivity, which makes August 100% lethal. So before it was super rare for it to happen, but spiritual Borea, or Boreal, can induce that elemental sensitivity and thus make it fatal. So, but what they had done is they had actually put August inside a glade lily, which blooms at night. So they essentially had used glue to glue the glade, an organic glue, to glue the glade lily's petals close to essentially seal it so they could fill it with August. So they fill it with August, seal it, and then when the glade lily tries to bloom at night, because it's a organic adhesive, it's not really that strong, so it's not able to resist the glade lily blooming. So it blooms. Now August is being, now the August that was sealed inside the petals is out, combined with spiritual boreal to induce elemental sensitivity. That was what we determined was the murder weapon. I assumed that it was purely the incense, but I guess the idea was that they could smell August. So it would, if the incense was August itself, they would have noticed that, but we don't know that. We don't know what they can smell. We don't know what they can know until they say it. So, yeah. So that's what happened, is that that's what, so basically that's, but we were able to figure it out in time. So like we were doing some whole this and that, and in our discussions we're like, oh, actually, wait a minute. This is, like we were like noticing the glade lily, and then I think it was Emilie who was like, oh shit, the glade lily opens, I got it. And so we ran into the merchant's room and we saw him unconscious with the smell of August in his room. So we might have been able to catch him before he died. We don't know 100% right at the moment. Either way, then it turned out that we were suspecting that Edgar might have been replaced by Kyria, who was essentially mimicking his appearance. And I thought that when Edgar was first knocked out, I'm like, you know what? I bet one of my theories was maybe Edgar did it himself. Maybe Edgar knocked himself out intentionally to make it seem like Kyria is targeting all of them, where he just knocked himself out as a red herring to be like, cool, now no one will suspect me, so that I can, kill these two and run away. But it turns out it wasn't Edgar himself. It might have been Kyria disguised as Edgar. And maybe Edgar's somewhere around here, or maybe he's dead, who knows. But right now, Kyria has essentially escaped. So we had said, okay, quick, let's go find Edgar, or let's go double check Edgar, because we think he might be Kyria in disguise. And as we were trying to approach him, the guard, as we were saying this theory, the guard rushed in and said, "Oh my God, Edgar just like dashed out of the room and ran away way too quickly for his old nature and his cough and all that shit." And so now we're on the chase.
落ち着いてください。
We're chasing after him.
何を見ても
So Kiria's on the loose. The Black Shadow is Kiria. So Kiria was Emilie's brother. So that was not Emily's brother. Kiria was the Snezhnayan agent who used the delusion's brother. Because the Snezhnayan agent using the delusion was actually pretty much on her deathbed. So maybe that's why she wasn't working with Snezhnaya directly. She might have just been like released, or she might have just escaped because she knew she was going to die soon. So she escaped. And then essentially, according to what they've said, is that she was the one who burnt down the August fields. And she was the one who threw herself in the fire, killing herself. So essentially just, offing herself at the very end. Maybe to free her brother, but she also did take all the money, if not all the money, but a huge portion of the money, and gave it to her brother. So she's like, "Here, brother, here's all the money we made. I'm dead now."
波を追いかけて
And the brother was like, "My sister, she's dead. Clearly it's Edgar's and these merchants' fault. If only they hadn't pushed her," because she had been like basically lying to him, wearing heavy makeup to make her seem not as sickly as she was. So he might have been under the impression that she was fine, and that they had forced her to do this. It's hard to say. We don't know the culpability of it. We don't know whose idea was it to make a perfume using a delusion flower. So a delusion-made flower. So it could have been her to begin with. Might have not been. Could have been a combination of both of them. Maybe Edgar came up, smelled the flower, and like, "Oh, this smells really nice. Maybe could I make a perfume out of this?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." And then it turned out really good. And so she just, maybe he convinced her to make, a flower field, and she agreed. So she might have been more of a victim in a sense, in that she wasn't trying to maliciously spread this flower. She just thought, "Oh, well, it smells nice, people like it." And they only knew about its lethality once it was made. And even then, it was only for a very, very small subset of people. So it was not very noticeable. It was still dangerous, obviously, but So there is the possibility that she wasn't doing it maliciously, but we don't know. Obviously, she's dead. Maybe with this Kiria, when we find Kiria, he'll be able to shed some light on what she was thinking. Maybe she left a diary that he read. Hard to say. Maybe in her diary, maybe she was that innocent. Maybe she was just came over here and wanted to retire, and she came over here making retire. She made a few flowers because she likes the appearance of them or the scent, and one or two flowers wouldn't have made a difference. But it was only because Edgar found her, and maybe she left a diary of "Oh, I met Edgar, and he said he did this, and he begged me to make a flower field so we could make more of this, and so she relented." And if that was her diary, then yeah, sure, I could understand why Kiria would blame Edgar for this. And in that sense, it's yeah, sure, but no one knew. Actually, wait, I think they did know that it was a delusion. Maybe when someone died or something. Maybe at that point they figured it out. But I don't think at the beginning they knew.
ここを通り過ぎて
And I think at the point that people knew it was a delusion, I think the merchants might have still been pushing it to try to sell it. So, the merchants are at least culpable, and maybe Edgar is too, for still trying to sell it, despite its lethality. Although it seemed like he wasn't trying to sell it once he knew it was lethal, or had the potential to be lethal. So, hard to say.
この方角です。さあ、行きましょう。
So yeah, so that will be 85. Which way is? Oh, it's up the mountain. Oh, it's the fastest way up the mountain. This way?
サーフボード貸そうか？
Is there no? Oh. Anyway, so yeah, so it's hard to say who's really guilty or not. It's possible it wasn't a Snezhnayan plot. She was just kind of she had gone to Fontaine to live the rest of her life. tried to live it in peace, and then this just kind of escalated. And so she had spent the remainder of her life force and delusion powers on,
強くなってきました。
let's see. Okay, well, I might as well just use the scene then. So she might have used the remainder of her delusion powers and life force to do that. Thinking, well, you know, she wants to leave something remaining of her. And maybe she didn't, maybe she wasn't, like maybe she didn't even know how lethal it was. Although, like, I don't know, she uses a delusion, so she clearly knows, like, how dangerous that could be, but maybe she thought that it wouldn't affect the flowers. I mean, the fact that she was even making flowers like this would kind of allude that they were being used in some sort of experiment. Like, perhaps. It's hard to say, really. You know, maybe the experiment was purely just, okay, we've made delusions in these various elements. Let's see how these delusions help us manipulate said elements and see, like, what the end results were. So they made a bunch of dendro delusions, and they had a variety of people try to grow a variety of flowers and see how the delusion affects their growth. It could have been something as simple as that. Like, they weren't trying to do anything. It's not like they were trying to produce a particular type of flower to produce a particular type of drug or something. It could have just been like, let's just see how it works. Like, let's see how flames produced by a fire delusion, are different than normal flames. That type of shit. You know, like, same for water, perhaps.
見せてください。
But we'll never know. Like, Cole seemed a little suspicious because obviously Cole was involved with human experimentation, which kind of makes us suspicious of, were these flowers
確かに
also used as part of
この
that?
辺りの空気はなんだか重たいよね。
Yeah, it's probably filled with August, perhaps.
どこか大きな問題はなさそうです。急いで追いかけていたのと。
And that's the thing, is that, like, Cole remembers the scent, so, like, maybe this is something she smelled when she was being experimented on by the Doctore, you know? Maybe this woman who escaped was an old harbinger who had a dendro delusion. You know, maybe she was a harbinger and she was complicit in all these, you know, human experimentations, creating flowers that were used in medicines, you know.
オーグズ、落ち着いて聞いてくれ。
そんなバカな。キリアはエドガーさんはもう70代だ。いくら変装したって。
はい。ですから、特殊な手段で自身の体
Oh, I see. Okay, so that was one thought I had. So maybe Edgar is still around. Like, maybe Kiria kidnapped Edgar and replaced him with, like, a disguise. But it seems that more like he used a delusion.
茶碗を使ってアウグストゥスの花を育て、
I see.
彼はオルモス校でずっと
しかし、そのなりすましが
Oh, I see. So maybe Edgar killed, or maybe Kiria killed Edgar even back in Fontaine, and then he
そ
left.
れを推測に過ぎませんが、本物の調香師エドガー、本物のエドガーさんが獄中で過ごした数年間のうちに、キリアさんは出所した当時、
Oh, so Edgar actually did go to prison then. Okay. I didn't know if Edgar went to prison. I didn't know, because, like, the price fixing shit, you know, you could argue that it's purely the merchants who did this, you know? Edgar just sold these merchants the perfume, and they, without his knowledge, did this. And so they were the ones who went to prison, and Edgar never did. But it seems like Edgar also did go to prison. I kind of thought that since this thing happened, he was found to be not guilty, because there was the merchants who did all this shit, and he was just released and left for Sumeru immediately. So it seems like Edgar, because, like, Edgar had been here for years, so I assume that, you know, he didn't go to prison, and the merchants who just, like, because it made it seem like the merchants had just gotten out of prison, and maybe they did, maybe they all went to prison, but Edgar didn't suffer as long a sentence because he was more of a, he wasn't in charge of the price fixing decisions, and he was just the supplier. And maybe his lack of knowledge in what they were doing, you know, was proven, and so he was able to only spend a few years, and the other ones had to spend many more years. So maybe that's it.
親しい人間のいないスメールで
Okay, well then, okay, so So I was right there, in a sense. Because I was like, oh, Edgar knocked himself out to make it seem like it's attacking all three of them to allay suspicion on himself. I was right in that sense, because Kyria was already Edgar at that time, and he did knock himself out to make it seem like he was not suspicious.
そして十数年の長い年月の中で少しずつ変装を解き、
だからシルバーもあの時見ないうちにすっかり変わったって言ってたのか。復讐のために青年からヨボヨボの老人になるの。
そんなエドガーさんに会ってみないと。
Oh, is that Kyria?
君は俺はまだいける。
ちょっと待てよ。この場所も多分邪眼の影響を受けて。
Oh, okay, never mind. Because like Edgar was coughing, so I was like, oh shit, did Kyria disguise himself as this guy? But I guess, yeah, I guess it's not that he's a master of disguise, it's that he actually did. He actually does look like an old person now.
エドガーさんはコレイさんの言う通りです。後の調査は神の目に守られているか。
I don't know then. Like, so what was it? He disguised himself as Edgar, went to Fontaine,
異常な原子力を
and
する体制が強いものと思われます。
and then I mean, went to Sumeru. I mean,
他の人に比べれば
disguised himself as Edgar, went to Sumeru,
少ないでしょう。
and then waited for a few years until the merchants got released from prison and found him. Like, it doesn't seem like a great plan. Unless maybe he invited them, perhaps, and they were like, "Oh, it's Edgar. Sure, we'll go meet him."
シャムさん、オグズさん、他にも出入り口ですから。
俺は
そうだな。こっちのことはおい、聞いてたか？
わかっ
旅人エミ、復讐のためだけに生きてきた人間がその道の果てで何をしでかすか。
ご安心を。私たちもキリアさんもここで命を終わらせるわけにはいきません。今はアウグステスがもたらした死。魔物？ここの元素力に引き寄せられたのでしょうか。はっよっ、
みんなを守るからね。
見たことのない種ですね。邪眼のせいで変異したものでしょう。まるで私たちを避けているようですね。周囲には他に道がありません。崖のそばまで追い立ててみるのはどうでしょう。
Oh, that's interesting.
出発。おお、これがアウグ。こんなにたくさん咲かせるまでにどれだけ時間をかけたんだろうな。これを一人でやったのか。
それでも花畑を耕すのにかけた時間よりも。
でもアウグストゥスの花計画のためならアウグストゥスの香水が何本か
彼はアウグストゥスに恨みだけでなく、少し前ホテルの花がしかしスネージュナヤに背きフォンテーヌに別れを告げ、おそらくお姉さんと同じようにアウグストゥスの咲き誇る
ジック。
ここであんたを潰す。
管理します。やっ
行くぞ。
我に光を。
出発。
Oh shit, this is a lot of. Oh, I see. That's so annoying.
実に奇妙な生態です。さて、先ほど種を見つけた場所に戻ってみましょう。
加速するよ。
花の香り
Oh, are these August flowers too? God damn, he made a fuckload of
目
these.
的地はもう目の前です。花の香り、鮮烈に。
I see. So that's why he was coughing too. It's because he was at the end of his life because he used the delusions.
いや、私に力が残っていないだけか。だが、ここまで来れば、もう十分だ。
ここはアウグスティスの花畑。僕の花畑じゃない。あの日フォンテーヌで焼けた花畑だ。姉さん、姉さん僕はずっと分かってたんだ。僕のために姉さんは邪眼を使い続けてた。僕のために姉さんは花畑を燃やした。あの日姉さんの言う通り、お金を手に町を離れたのは間違いだった。おかしいと気づいた頃には花畑も姉さんも何もかもなくなってた。
Oh, I see. So he didn't do that afterwards. He did it before. So he didn't leave after.
もっと早く会いに行くべきだった。10年。僕はあの時姉さんと一緒に死ぬべきだった。姉さん。
She's trying to save him again.
置いていかないでくれ。
They're gonna rescue him? I don't understand how they can. Drank a fuckload of August. He should be dead, right?
私は死んでいない。なぜだ。
体内に残った毒素とアウグストゥスの花粉が幻覚を引き起こし、
ありえない。私は十分な量の
Oh, I see. Because I actually suspected her for a second because, like, the second she was done poking around the flowers, there was a bottle of August, or a bottle that looked like the August ones they used before. I assumed that she had left it. I was like, oh, maybe I was suspicious of her a little bit, but then when she saved the merchant brother, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess not. So I see. She planted a fake one.
昨夜から準備していたのです。アウグスティスのアコード。香りのアコード。それは調香の基礎。
そして香水の柱だ。龍涎香にシダーウッド、ラストノートは人工。
ふんふん。これは革の香りですか？
そうだ。革から精油を抽出することはできないが、他のものから革をイメージするような香りを作り出すことはできる。これこそがアコードだ。
その方法でなら、この世のすべての香りを作れるのですか？
それは非常に難しいだろうな。この世には唯一無二の替えの利かない香りがある。その香りに人々は熱狂し、酔いしれた。
Oh, she's adorable.
アウグステスをつけてパーティーに行くと、唯一無二の存在になれる気がする。私が使ってるのよ。じゃあ買わずにはいられない。
それで十分だろ。
この唯一無二を今こそ終わらせるのです。神話は逆転でき、奇跡は再現できます。
I see. So she made. Oh, that's what she meant by accord. She essentially replicated the smell without its actual lethal properties or actual properties.
残る問題は本物のアウグステスがどこに隠されているか。襲われたことを装い、自由に動けなくしたのだから、手の届く範囲にしか隠せないはず。
窓の外から見えた感じ、あいつの部屋も花だらけだったぞ。
温度や湿度を保つため、主催はわざわざ養老派に特製の植木鉢を作らせたんだ。
香水は花と同じように美しく脆い。だから保管の際には日光を避け、温度をコントロールすることだ。メモは取れたかい、エミリエ。
メモできました。
つまりシルバンは死んでしまったのか。
そうです、先生。
あの時アウグストスを
あの時あなたは復讐を果たしたと思い込ん。
ありえない。すり替えるそう簡単に模造できる。
私はレインボーローズとルリウリ、それからセシリアの花を使いました。十数年前は、ですが今では調和。
レインボーローズ。
アウグステスは十数年も昔にできた香水です。調香の技術は日々絶え間なく目覚ましい進化を遂げています。十数年前は決して打ち破られなかった神話も、もはや
過去か。
調香師としてのあなたは。
Oh, it was 20 years. Okay. For some reason I was thinking it was like 5 years ago when all this happened. I forgot how long ago it was. Okay, so 20 years ago. So he could have been living here for like 10 years. He might have served a 10-year prison sentence before being released, and then Curio replaced him and lived in Sumer for 10 years. That would be a long enough time for people to think he's been here forever.
ご自身がアウグストゥスに与えた意義に執着しすぎたんです。あの頃、神聖で高貴で唯一無二であると。あなたがアウグストゥスに執着していたからこそ。
でも ここまで早くことを進めるとは思わなかったな。
さすがだ。すべてお見通しだな。それで昨日の夜から朝一番に聞いた訃報も野獣馬見物の連中もすべてシャムが君たちに協力して手配し、私に
そうです。そうしなければあなたは邪眼を使って最後の賭けに出るか、パラハームとアウグストゥスを利用して混乱を招いていたかもしれない。
それはどうかな。
そうなっていればエドガーの死もこの花畑の場所も、シルバンは昨夜軽度の中毒で済みました。彼が十数年前に隠蔽した罪は公開審判にかけられ、
私も同じく。
すんなり受け入れるの？
自らの行いについて言い逃れは、やるべきことは全てやった。君たちの勝利に終わるとしても
みんな気をつけて。
もう時間がないようだ。
何でしょう。
アウグストゥスの調和した香りの。
アウグストゥスの香りは重層的で複雑ですが、主原料としてはアウグスですから、おととい残された液体を調べている時に考えたのです。
つまりイエレーナは
レインボーローズ、ルリユリ、セシリアの花、これらの精油ですが、複数の花の特徴を兼ね備えた新種の花を栽培できれば。
レインボーローズ、イエレーナ。
知ってる？エミリエさんがああ、それなら聞いたわ。
最近フォンテーヌの至るところで
ひっそりと売り出すつもりだったのですが、次の神話になってしまわないことを願うばかりです。でないと。ええ、あれから配合に少し手を加えてより長持ちする、お二人にも。
いいぞ、味覚の鋭い人。いい香りだ。
構いま。それに香水にとっては、いい香りという言葉こそ何より本質。
そうそう、あの花々には。
おそらく花言葉でしょう。
花言葉？前に聞いたことあるぞ。
どんな花も時代や人々によって異なるフォンテーヌに戻ってから調べたところ、それらの花言葉を過去に別れを告げ、世間にとってアウグストゥスの花言葉は 好奇、神聖といった。
そうだな。
海底前に一度お見舞いに行きました。彼はこう言っていました。彼女はもういない。考えはもう誰にもわからない。本当にそう考えていたのだとしても、姉のために復讐する。彼は自分の望み通りに花を咲かせました。けれど先生から、あなた方にあの時生かしてくれたことに愛も憎しみも、死者の思いは命と共にこの世をそれでも、たとえ花言葉に託された意味や香水が象徴するけれども、遡ればすべて。
That was really good. I like that. It's a really interesting quest. I was not 100% right. There were definitely a few things I guessed wrong. But, you know, it's what it is. Like, there's no way in hell I would have guessed. Oh, yeah, Kyria is actually, it's the, shit, which weapon do I need? Which battle pass weapon am I fighting first? I think there's the sword, right? Wolf Fang. I need one more Wolf Fang. One more Wolf Fang. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. Okay, come on, redeem my thingy. I really like that. That was a nice quest. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.